Good evening. Welcome to the West Valley City Council meeting. We call our meeting to order. We were just waiting for some technical things there to get started, plus we were a little late in our other meeting. But we're glad to have you here tonight. We note that all council members are in attendance. And we'll begin with an opening ceremony. We turn to Councilmember Steve Bueller for it.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd ask everybody to stand and repeat the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Okay. With that then, we go to no scout troops here tonight. Boy, Halloween must have taken its toll. Approval of the minutes of October 25th. To the council for a motion on the minutes.
Move to approve the minutes of October 25th, 2016.
Second.
Properly before us, any discussion? Looks like they're okay the way they are. Then all in favor of approving the minutes of October 25th, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes unanimously. The minutes are approved. Next, we go to our awards. We will begin with our Employee of the Month award. Jeff Olson, Utah Cultural Celebration Center. I believe that Councilman Yoon has that.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it very much, Mayor. Jeff, are you here? Can you stand up, please? And it's short. Jeff Olson, nominated by Michael Christensen. Jeff is deserving of this award because he is performing the work of 3 people: marketing, sales, event management, and essential financial and liaison to building construction responsibilities. On top of this, he is managing a new staff who are still learning the complexities of their own jobs. Jeff is pulled in many directions daily and somehow managed to stay on top of the things that go well beyond duties as assigned. You truly can't appreciate the time and effort Jeff puts in unless you see him move from one project to the next, wearing one hat and then another, and then yet another, unless you are here to witness it on a daily basis. Thank you, Jeff.
Next, we have a proclamation on Extra Mile Day. Councilman Nordfeld.
Thank you. Whereas West Valley City is a community which acknowledges that a special vibrancy exists with the entire community when its individual citizens collectively go the extra mile in personal effort, volunteerism, and service. And whereas West Valley City is a community which encourages its citizens to maximize their personal contribution to the community by giving of themselves wholeheartedly and with total effort, commitment, and conviction to their individual ambitions, family, friends, and community. And whereas West Valley City is a community which chooses to shine a light on and celebrate individuals and organizations within its community who go the extra mile in order to make a difference and lift up fellow members of their community. And whereas West Valley City acknowledges the mission of the Extra Mile America to create 500 Extra Mile cities and states in America, and is proud to support Extra Mile Day on November 1st, 2016. Now therefore we, the Mayor and City Council of West Valley City, do hereby proclaim November 1st, 2016 to be Extra Mile Day. We urge each individual in the community to take time on this day to not only go the extra mile in his or her own life, but to also acknowledge all those around who are inspirational in their efforts and commitment to make their organizations, families, community, country, or world a better place.
Thank you very much. Next, we go to our public comment period. We'll begin by seeing if anyone is here to speak. We do have one person signed up at least. And remind you that this is an opportunity for you to speak. It is not time for a debate. And so the topic is open to the individual presenting. And later the council will have an opportunity to respond if desired, depending upon circumstances. We'll begin then with Mr. Frank Pedrosa.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members. I'm here tonight again, and last time I was here, I was an hour late to your meeting. I thought it was at 7:30, but it was at 6:30. I'm here out of frustration with one of the homes in our neighborhood. The last two nights I've been awakened at 1:30 and 2:30 in the morning. We've called the police about 6 or 7 different times. The last time that we had the police at the residence, it was 3 o'clock in the morning, and one of the residents was banging on our door saying that his roommates were attempting to murder him, that he had been stabbed. We called 911. It took almost a half an hour for officers to arrive. The young man left because he said he couldn't deal with police officers. That was because it was our impression that earlier, 2:30, quarter after 2 in the morning, when my significant other walked over to the home, and she came back and said it was her impression that everyone there was high. The officers got there, and they said they couldn't even go over and knock on the door because, quote, the victim wasn't being able to be found. About 2 months ago, when I came to this meeting an hour late, Mr. Pyle recognized me from a failed attempt at one of your seats about 6 years ago, and we spoke. He said he would have someone contact me the next day or the day after. About 8 or 9 days after that, I tried to leave a message again for the officer who I have spoken to 3 or 4 different times from your Community Affairs Department. It was more than 2 weeks, Wayne, before someone got back to me. I have spoken to code enforcement. I've talked to planning and zoning. I've been to the police department 3 different times, and this is my second attempt at this group. Who do we talk to try to do something about this residence? Where, from my perspective, if it's not a frat house, if it's not a drug house, there are 8 to 10 different people who supposedly live there. I cannot believe that the landlord has a lease agreement with all 8 to 10 of those different individuals, and my frustration level is up to here. Like I said, if this house was in your neighborhood, who would you go contact? Thank you for taking a moment this evening.
Thank you. Was there anyone else here who wanted to speak? Okay, with that then, we'll close the public comment portion, bring it back. Mr. Pyle, any comments?
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, just in order to hopefully help Mr.
facilitate Mr. Pedrosa's request, I will just, well, first off, I'll take a little bit of responsibility, and that I did indeed have the conversation with Mr. Pedrosa, as he said, and I'm not sure where the breakdown, I know I didn't do a lot of follow-up afterwards, so I will take it on myself to make sure that I do that in terms of what the current status of the property or the residence is. I'll also, we'll wait to have him stay after the meeting, and I'll make sure I've got the correct addresses, and I'll take some more proactive look at that from my standpoint.
Thank you. To the council, any comments?
I was just wondering what the address was, so I could go by myself, but,
So I'll get that.
okay.
That's one of the great challenges we face, and by the way, yeah, I got one in my neighborhood too. They're a great challenge to deal with because of personal property rights and also issues related to, I suspect, as in most cases what I've found, those homes that have multiple families, a person is renting the home and then they just rent out rooms. And very difficult to do anything about with personal property rights, but we've certainly talked about it many times, trying to figure it out, and long before I got on the council. I wish I could say I had a solution, but I haven't found one that works real well yet, at least not that's legal. So, Councilman Bueller.
Of course, the solution best belongs to the homeowner. If he finds violation of the lease, he has remedies that the rest of us don't have. And, I don't know if the homeowner cares, but it certainly could be brought to the homeowner's attention. And the homeowner is a matter of public record with the county recorder's office. And county assessor has an address for the homeowner, and that could be brought to the homeowner's attention. And if he doesn't like having his home sublet or people living there that are not on the lease, he can take care of it.
But other than that, Mr. Pedrosa has done everything he should do. He's contacted everybody he should contact.
Right.
So it's just frustrating when it moves slowly.
One of the things I have found, though, in connection with that is even contacting the homeowner. Sometimes, as long as they get their rent check, they don't care. That is really unfortunate. Typically an absentee landlord, and so makes it very, very difficult. But we do appreciate your coming. We just wish there were more that would come and say something. With that, then, we'll finish our our comment period. We next go on our agenda to our resolutions. Item 8, we have Resolution 16-174. This is an agreement between the city and Salt Lake County for the Zoo Arts and Parks Funds, often called, the source of that, of course, is the ZAP tax. And this is funds that are going to go to the Cultural Celebration Center at $70,000, a little increase from before, and used for programs and events at the Cultural Center. And we need to approve this in order to have those funds distributed to us. That's the introduction to the item. With that introduction, then, we'll now turn to the council to see if they have any comments or if they want to make a motion.
Mayor, I move for approval of, this is a resolution 16-174.
Second.
Okay, that's properly for us. Any further comments? Okay, if not, then we'll turn to our city recorder, who will take a roll call vote.
Councilman Vincent?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lang?
Yes.
Councilman Bueller?
Aye.
Councilman Hume?
Aye.
Councilman Christensen?
Yes.
Councilman Norfelt?
Yes.
And Mayor Bigelow.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have Resolution 16-175. This is an agreement between our city and Rocky Mountain Power. There is an agreement for a corridor where Rocky Mountain has a utility corridor that we have an agreement to utilize for certain activities such as parking. Underneath that, this is over east and west of Decker Lake Drive within the power corridor. This extends the lease for another 10 years and is a cost of $7,200 annually. So that is the issue before us. We believe this is in good interest to the city because of its benefit to the city that we're able to utilize that. But we'll see if the council is all in agreement. So to the council for comment or motion.
Mayor, I move for approval of Resolution 16-175.
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll turn to our city recorder for the vote.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Hume,
Aye.
Councilman Bueller,
Aye.
Councilwoman Lang,
Yes.
Councilman Vincent,
Yes.
and Mayor Bigelow.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Next, we go to Resolution 16-176. This is an interlocal cooperative agreement between our city, Taylorsville City, UDOT, and the TEA Group Transportation Engineering. This is for construction management. There's some signal improvements taking place on 4100 South. These are at 1300 West, 2700 West, and 40th West. This will extend it simply because it's not completed yet. We've been working on this for a while. Very positive thing for those funds to be available. This just extends what we've already approved in the past. With that introduction then to the council.
Move for approval of Resolution 16-176.
Second.
Properly before us, any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll turn to our city recorder for a roll call vote.
Councilman Vincent,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lang,
Yes.
Councilman Bueller,
Aye.
Councilman Hume,
Aye.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
and Mayor Bigelow.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
All right, thank you. Then next, make sure I slide this down right, Resolution 16-177. This again is an extension on that same project on 4100 South, those three intersections between ourselves, Taylorsville City, UDOT, but this one is with Summers, Jaramillo, and Associates. And again, just a different contract with a different provider to get that finished. So again, an extension there. That is the introduction to it, then to the council for comment or action.
I move for approval, Resolution 16-177.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Fairly routine items tonight, so to our recorder for the vote.
Councilman Vincent,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lang,
Yes.
Councilman Bueller,
Aye.
Councilman Hume,
Aye.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
and Mayor Bigelow.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
All right, that is what we have on our regularly scheduled agenda. We don't have a need for an executive session. Any final comments from the council? Seeing none, then our last motion.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes unanimously. We are adjourned.